Hello brothers and welcome to Sigma Old Man channel. The deadliest battles are the ones you fight where no one sees the scars. In a world obsessed with noise, attention and desperate displays of dominance, there exists a man who fights wars you will never see and a battlefield you will never know. His victories are silent, his defeats are secrets, and his greatest weapon, his mind. Did you know that over 60% of people secretly fear being alone? But for him, solitude isn't a prison, it's a command center. And while most are terrified of being misunderstood, he thrives on it. Why? Because being an enigma is his armor. This is the Sigma male, the silent strategist who walks through life like a ghost in the battlefield, navigating a war that no one else even knows exists. But don't mistake his quiet for weakness. Beneath that calm exterior is a mind wired for chaos, a soul tempered by solitude, and a heart trained to carry burdens most would crumble under. But what exactly is this unseen battlefield he walks every single day? And how does he not just survive it, but dominate it without anyone knowing? Well, sit tight, because we're about to go deep into the shadowed war zone of the Sigma male. A world where silence is a weapon, isolation is a strategy, and survival isn't just about winning. It's about outlasting everyone. Let's begin. Number 1, an emotional atheist by design. A Sigma male is an emotional atheist by design. It's not that he doesn't feel emotions, it's that he refuses to worship them. In a world where feelings are treated like sacred truths and emotional outbursts are mistaken for authenticity, he stands apart, calm, composed, and calculating. He understands that emotions are powerful, but unlike most, he knows they are not always truthful. They are reactions, often manipulated by circumstances, people, and even his own mind, and so he refuses to become a puppet controlled by them. This doesn't mean he is a cold, unfeeling machine. Far from it. He experiences the full spectrum of human emotions, anger, joy, sadness, even love. But here's the difference. He is a master at choosing which emotions deserve his attention and which ones are nothing more than distractions. When rage surges within him, he doesn't explode. He feels it, studies it, then decides if it is worth acting on. When others drown in heartbreak, he doesn't sink. He studies the pain, learns its lessons, and uses it as fuel. Most people are prisoners of their emotions, reacting impulsively, making decisions they later regret, chasing temporary highs and falling apart in moments of despair. But a Sigma male is a strategist. He knows that emotions are like wild animals. They must be tamed, trained, and controlled. His calm demeanor is not a lack of emotion, but a sign of absolute mastery over it. While others wear their hearts on their sleeves, he keeps his locked behind an iron door, opening it only when he chooses. This detachment makes him a force to be reckoned with. Manipulators quickly realize that their emotional traps do not work on him. Guilt trips, flattery, anger, jealousy, they bounce off him like arrows off armor. People who try to provoke him are left confused, wondering why their words have no effect. And those who think they can win him over with emotional performances find themselves performing for a man who doesn't even care. For the Sigma male, emotions are not rulers, they are tools. Tools to be used, controlled, and mastered. And in a world ruled by those who cannot control themselves, he stands like an island of calm in a storm of chaos. Number 2, respect without dependency. A Sigma. Male commands respect, but never by force, manipulation, or desperate pleas for attention. He doesn't parade his achievements, doesn't pound his chest, and never seeks applause. In a world where everyone is screaming for recognition, he is a silent anomaly, a man who moves with quiet purpose, achieving more than most without feeling the need to broadcast it. His respect is not begged for, it is earned through sheer presence and undeniable competence. This respect isn't rooted in fear, nor is it fueled by charm or social manipulation. It is a natural byproduct of his actions. When he speaks, he does so with clarity and confidence because he doesn't waste words. When he takes on a task, he completes it without excuses or the need for constant praise. Those around him recognize that he is not here to impress anyone. He is here to get things done, and this complete disinterest in validation creates an aura that is both intimidating and magnetic. While most people build networks by endlessly flattering others, playing mind games, or bending over backward to please, he does none of that. His connections are few but solid, built on mutual respect rather than shallow compliments. People respect him not because they feel obligated to, but because they recognize his value. They know that his approval cannot be bought. His loyalty cannot be forced, and his time cannot be wasted. Even in group settings, he stands apart. Not because he demands the spotlight, but because his silence is louder than most people's noise. He doesn't rush to voice his opinions, but when he does speak, his words carry weight. And when he takes action, it is decisive, effective, and quietly powerful. There is no need for fanfare, no craving for applause, and no addiction to being noticed. Ironically, his refusal to demand respect makes others offer it freely. Those who try to test his patience quickly learn that they are irrelevant to his sense of self-worth. Those who try to manipulate him discover they are simply ignored. He does not force anyone to respect him because he doesn't care for empty admiration. And it is this complete disinterest in being seen as important that makes him impossible to ignore. Number 3, silent accountability. Judge. A Sigma male is a silent judge, but the one he judges most harshly is himself. While others measure their worth by external validations, applause, likes, promotions, he measures himself against an invisible code, a ruthless set of standards that exist only in his mind. It is a law he cannot escape because it was written by his own hand. Success does not intoxicate him because he knows where he could have done better. Compliments bounce off him because they mean nothing against the cold, precise judgment of his own conscience. To the outside world, he may seem calm, even indifferent, but beneath that composed exterior is a man who never stops scrutinizing his own actions. A simple mistake that most would forget in a day haunts him for weeks. Not because anyone noticed, but because he did. He is his own prosecutor, his own defense, and his own executioner. Victory brings him a moment of satisfaction, but never peace, because his mind is already analyzing the next challenge, the next potential failure. This isn't self-loathing. It is brutal honesty. While most people live in comfortable delusions, blaming others, making excuses, or rewriting history to protect their ego, the Sigma male confronts himself without mercy. He doesn't waste time justifying his mistakes. He dissects them, studies them, and feels the sting of disappointment with a depth most cannot imagine. Because for him, self-deception is the worst betrayal. Yet this brutal self-accountability is a double-edged sword. It drives him to excel, to master his skills, to stay 10 steps ahead in a world where most people can barely keep up. But it also means that he is rarely satisfied, even when he achieves what others would call greatness. A success ignored is just as punishing as a failure remembered. Because he is not competing with the world. He is at war with his own expectations. People around him may think he is too hard on himself, but they cannot see what he sees. He is not afraid of the judgment of others, because nothing they say could ever match the cold, unrelenting voice of his own inner critic. And while others strive to escape criticism, he thrives on it, not because he enjoys pain, but because he understands that the harshest judge is the one who never stops watching, himself. Number 4, the predator of power, dynamics. A Sigma male is a predator of power dynamics, but his weapon is not aggression, it's perception. He steps into any room, any group, any situation, and within moments, the invisible web of influence is laid bare before him. Who commands respect without saying a word? Who craves validation but is quietly ignored? Who plays the leader but is actually a pawn? To most, these are blurred social interactions. To him, they are open blueprints. While others are busy performing, proving, or pleasing, he is observing. He doesn't waste time trying to impress anyone because his focus is on understanding them. Conversations become data streams, body language is a silent confession, and even silence itself speaks volumes. He notices the slight hesitation in someone's voice when they speak to the real decision-maker. He sees the eager eyes of those who depend on praise and the hidden envy of those who feel threatened. These are not just details to him, they are tactical information. But what makes him a predator is not just his ability to read power, but his ability to remain unreadable. He moves through social hierarchies like a ghost, never revealing his true intentions. People around him may think they understand him, but they are only seeing the mask he chooses to wear. He can be charming without being attached, attentive without being interested, and supportive without being loyal. He is a master at creating perceptions without being trapped by them. His understanding of power dynamics means he knows when to play, when to step back, and when to dismantle. If someone tries to dominate him with authority, he does not clash head-on like a fool. Instead, he lets them believe they are in control, subtly positioning himself where their own ego becomes a weapon against them. When manipulation is aimed at him, he does not react emotionally. He studies the manipulator, dissects their tactics, and decides whether they are worth a lesson or simply to be ignored. But when he chooses to destroy, it is never loud. He exposes hypocrisy without saying a word. He isolates a false leader by letting them drown in their own mistakes. He withholds his support at critical moments, watching those who relied on his silent strength collapse. People often mistake his quietness for passivity, but they never see the strategy unfolding behind his calm eyes. He's not just a player in the game, he is the one who sees the entire board. Number 5, immune to flattery, poisoned by praise. A Sigma male is immune to flattery, but poisoned by praise. Compliments do not warm his heart, they set off silent alarms in his mind. Where most people soak in sweet words like rain on dry soil, he stands sheltered, analyzing every drop. He knows that in the world of human interaction, admiration is rarely pure. It is a currency, a tool, and those who offer it often have a transaction in mind. Flattery slides off him like rain on glass because he recognizes it for what it is, a performance, an attempt to manipulate, a mirage crafted to sway emotions. Tell him he is intelligent and he will wonder what you want him to agree with. Call him a leader, and he will question what task you hope he will take on. Praise his talents, and he will immediately calculate how you plan to leverage them. He has seen too many people use kind words as weapons, buttering someone up before slipping a knife between the ribs of their trust. But what truly unsettles him is sincere praise, not because he craves it, but because of what it reveals. Genuine admiration means he has been noticed, analyzed, and understood. And that makes him uncomfortable because it strips away his favorite armor, his invisibility. He is not afraid of being complimented. He is wary of being known. Praise is proof that someone has paid attention to him, and for a man who prefers the shadows, this is an exposure he does not welcome. Worse still, sincere praise can poison him with doubt. His ruthless self-accountability means he is always aware of his own flaws, of the gaps in his abilities, of the mistakes only he remembers. So when someone praises him, part of him immediately wonders if they are blind, naive, or simply lying. He cannot relax in the glow of admiration because he is too busy examining it for cracks, deceptions, or misunderstandings. This doesn't mean he cannot accept respect or recognition. It means he never becomes addicted to it. He is the kind of man who will thank you for a compliment but forget it the next second. Because where most people chase validation like a drug, he treats it like a drink offered by a stranger, cautiously and never without suspicion. Number 6, a mind trained for ambiguity. A Sigma male possesses a mind trained for ambiguity, a rare skill in a world desperate for clear answers and easy labels. Most people cling to certainty like a lifeline, terrified of the unknown, paralyzed by indecision. But for him, ambiguity is not a threat. It is a playground. Where others see chaos, he sees possibilities. Where they crave clarity, he thrives in complexity. His mind is a machine built for contradiction. He understands that people can be both honest and deceitful, that a friend can become a foe, and that truths can shift with perspective. This does not make him cynical, it makes him perceptive. He does not waste time demanding consistency from the world because he knows it does not exist. Instead, he studies the shifting sands of human behavior, the double meanings in words, the secret motives behind actions. He's never caught off guard because he expects the unexpected. When a problem has no clear solution, most people panic, choosing rash decisions just to escape the discomfort of uncertainty. But a Sigma male moves calmly through the fog. He does not rush to conclusions, nor does he fear being wrong. He collects information, examines contradictions, and lets time reveal the truth. While others desperately try to force order onto chaos, he studies chaos itself until it begins to make sense. This ability to navigate the gray makes him dangerous in any situation where the rules are unclear. In business, he is not misled by false promises or exaggerated claims. In relationships, he does not fall for empty words or dramatic gestures. When people lie, he doesn't need them to confess. Their inconsistencies are enough for him to uncover the truth. He can smile at an enemy, support a friend with a hidden agenda, and negotiate with someone who thinks they are using him. because he reads their contradictions like an open book. But his comfort in ambiguity is not just a defensive skill, it is an offensive weapon. When he speaks, he can be precise or intentionally vague, leaving others guessing. When he makes decisions, he does not feel the need to explain himself. And when he moves, he does so in ways that are impossible to predict because he's not tied to any rigid pattern. A mind trained for ambiguity is not confused, it is liberated. And while the world struggles to turn shadows into light, the Sigma male moves effortlessly in the darkness, understanding that sometimes shadows are the only truth. Number 7, the unsettling mirror. A Sigma male becomes an unsettling mirror that people desperately try to avoid because he shows them parts of themselves they'd rather hide. He doesn't need to say a single word to reveal the cracks, the insecurities, or the lies others bury deep inside. His presence alone is enough to reflect those hidden truths back with brutal honesty. When he looks at someone, it's not just a glance. It's an unflinching assessment that pierces through their defenses and exposes their raw, uncomfortable reality. Most people wear masks to protect themselves from judgment, but he sees right through them. His understanding isn't surface level, it's ruthless, precise, and unrelenting. He notices the slightest hesitation, the flicker of guilt, the subtle sign of arrogance or fear. And when he holds that gaze or stays silent in the right moment, the weight of their own truth crushes them. They become painfully aware of the parts of themselves they desperately want to ignore or hide from the world. This mirror effect unsettles people because it forces them to confront what they don't want to admit, whether it's weakness, hypocrisy, or failure. Unlike shallow criticism or empty praise, his reflection cannot be dodged or sugar-coated. It's raw, unavoidable, and often delivered without a single spoken word. This makes him both feared and avoided by those who can't handle being seen for who they truly are. But the Sigma male doesn't wield this mirror as a weapon to humiliate or control. It's a natural consequence of his deep insight and his refusal to participate in lies, whether others or his own. By holding up this silent, unsettling mirror, he forces people into moments of brutal self-awareness. Some crumble under it, others despise him for it. Few have the courage to look back and accept what they see. In a world full of superficial masks and endless pretenses, the Sigma male stands apart by simply reflecting the truth. And that truth is often the most uncomfortable thing anyone can face. Number 8, walking lie detector. On the unseen battlefield of social interactions, the Sigma male moves like a walking lie detector. While most people get fooled by shiny appearances, rehearsed charm, or hollow promises, he sees straight through all of it. His intuition isn't just a vague feeling, it's a finely honed weapon, sharp enough to slice through layers of deception and reveal what's really going on beneath the surface. He doesn't need someone to slip up with words or get caught in a contradiction. Often he senses the dishonesty in tone, body language, or even in the way someone avoids eye contact. The smallest inconsistency, the faintest hesitation is like a flare in the dark, instantly alerting him to a lie or manipulation attempt. And because he trusts this internal radar more than any social script or polite facade, he rarely gets blindsided. What makes this ability so powerful is how natural it is for him. He doesn't have to consciously analyze every interaction like a detective. Instead, his mind works effortlessly behind the scenes, constantly scanning for truth and falsehood. This means that while others are busy playing games or trying to cover their tracks, he's already 2 steps ahead, seeing through the smoke and mirrors with unsettling clarity. This makes him dangerous to liars, manipulators, and phonies. They try their usual tactics, flattery, half-truths, excuses, but he remains unaffected, unmoved, and unimpressed. He doesn't waste time confronting every deception because often ignoring the falsehoods is the best way to let the truth expose itself over time. But when necessary, he can call out lies with a quiet precision that leaves no room for denial. The Sigma male's walking lie detector isn't about paranoia or distrust. It's about survival and mastery of the social battlefield. In a world where appearances often deceive, he carries a blade of intuition so sharp it leaves no room for illusions. And that is why, no matter how smooth the act, he is rarely fooled. Number 9, master of relentless self-interrogation. A Sigma male is a master of relentless self-interrogation. Unlike most people who look for excuses, justifications, or comforting illusions, he confronts himself with brutal honesty every single day. He doesn't settle for easy answers or sugar-coated truths. Instead, he digs deeper, asking the hard questions that most avoid. Why did I fail here? What could I have done differently? Am I hiding behind a convenient lie to protect my ego? These are the relentless inquiries that keep him awake, not out of anxiety, but out of commitment to self-mastery. His self-awareness isn't a gentle reflection, it's a relentless interrogation. He holds up a mirror not to admire, but to expose every flaw, every weakness, every misstep. And unlike those who turn away in discomfort, he leans in, examining each flaw with clinical precision. There is no room for pity or denial in his self-assessment because he knows that self-deception is the enemy of growth. If he's honest with the world, he must first be brutally honest with himself. This unyielding self-questioning shapes every decision he makes. When others rush to defend their actions or blame circumstances, he pauses to dissect his own role in the outcome. He doesn't seek to protect his pride, he seeks to uncover the truth. This process is often uncomfortable, isolating even, because it means facing parts of himself he'd rather ignore. But for the Sigma male, comfort is a distraction, not a goal. What sets him apart is that this relentless self-interrogation doesn't lead to paralysis or self-loathing. Instead, it fuels his growth. By constantly challenging his own beliefs and actions, he sharpens his mind, refines his strategies, and builds resilience. He accepts that perfection is impossible, but demands progress without excuses. In a world full of people avoiding their own reflections, the Sigma male stares unflinchingly into his own soul, asking the toughest questions and never settling for lies, even the ones he might want to believe. This is the crucible in which his strength and clarity are forged. Number 10, psychological saboteur of his own mind, a Sigma. Male is locked in a constant war with himself, and the battlefield is his own mind. Unlike most people who seek peace by avoiding difficult thoughts or distracting themselves with noise, he dives headfirst into the chaos inside his head. His inner dialogue is relentless, part weapon, part wound, a fierce, unending conversation that tears down his confidence, even as it builds his strength. He is his own worst enemy because no one knows him better or is tougher on him than he is. Every thought is scrutinized, every decision replayed, every failure dissected with merciless detail. Doubt isn't a passing visitor, it's a resident in his mind, whispering uncertainties and questioning every move. But this isn't weakness, it's a calculated battle strategy. He understands that unchecked, these doubts could trap him in paralysis or self-destruction. So he masters them, turning that inner chaos into a source of power rather than a prison. The Sigma male knows his mind can be his greatest ally or his fiercest captor. He wrestles with his own fears, insecurities, and contradictions, not to escape them, but to understand and control them. This internal struggle sharpens his instincts and hones his mental resilience. He doesn't shy away from discomfort because he knows the only way to conquer the unseen battlefield is to first conquer himself. This psychological self-sabotage also fuels his drive. The voice inside pushing him to question, doubt, and challenge isn't just tearing him down, it's demanding growth, excellence, and clarity. He learns to harness the destructive parts of his mind, redirecting that energy into relentless self-improvement and strategic thinking. Yet this battle leaves scars. The silence of his mind is rarely peaceful. It's a constant tension, a tightrope walk between brilliance and breakdown. Few can see the invisible wounds he carries because he masks them well, channeling that internal conflict into a calm exterior. But inside, the fight never ends. And it's this psychological warfare that makes him both formidable and deeply human, a man battling himself on the fiercest battlefield of all. Number 11, the prisoner of purpose, the Sigma. Male is a prisoner of purpose, bound by chains forged from his own relentless drive. While many wander aimlessly chasing fleeting pleasures or external approval, he carries a mission so deeply ingrained that it becomes both his guiding light and his heaviest weight. This purpose isn't a flashy goal or a hashtag-worthy dream. It's a private obsession, a silent command that demands every ounce of his energy and focus. He doesn't talk about it much because no one else fully understands it, and that only deepens the solitude of his journey. It's a burden that isolates him, even from those closest to him, because it's not a choice he made lightly or can simply set aside. This mission defines him, but it also confines him, locking him in a cage of his own making. There's no off switch, no moment of rest where he can forget or walk away without guilt clawing at his conscience. Even when the purpose drains him, mentally, emotionally, physically, he can't abandon it. It's not about stubbornness or pride, it's about a profound sense of responsibility that feels almost like a debt owed to himself and the world. He sacrifices comfort, relationships, and sometimes happiness because the mission requires that level of dedication. Every day is a struggle to keep moving forward, to push past exhaustion and doubt, because the alternative, giving up, is unthinkable. This silent burden shapes his entire existence. It fuels his resilience and sharpens his focus, but it also leaves him vulnerable to loneliness and burnout. The Sigma male knows the cost of his purpose better than anyone else, and yet he accepts it without complaint. In this way, he is both the prisoner and the warden of his own destiny, forever bound to a path only he can walk, carrying the weight of a mission that devours as much as it defines him. Number 12, an obsessive curator of knowledge for the Sigma. Male, knowledge isn't a casual hobby or a status symbol. It's a matter of survival. He approaches information like a predator stalking its prey with relentless focus and zero tolerance for fluff or distraction. Every fact, every insight, every subtle detail is carefully gathered, stored, and analyzed because he knows that understanding the world around him is the ultimate edge in a life full of unseen battles. This obsession with knowledge isn't about showing off or proving how smart he is. It's a strategic habit born from necessity. In a chaotic, unpredictable world where appearances deceive and power shifts like quicksand, the Sigma male's mind is his fortress. By mastering facts, patterns, and behaviors, he builds a mental arsenal that can dismantle illusions, predict moves before they happen, and outmaneuver opponents without ever revealing his hand. He doesn't just skim the surface. He digs deep, curating information from diverse and unexpected sources, history, psychology, obscure sciences, even street wisdom, and weaves it into a complex map that guides his decisions. This mental inventory grows silently, invisibly, giving him the rare ability to see connections others miss and make choices that seem almost prophetic. This obsessive curation of knowledge sharpens his instincts and fuels his strategic thinking. It transforms him from a passive participant into a master tactician who can adapt swiftly and decisively. While others rely on luck or bravado, he trusts only the information he's painstakingly gathered and understood. In the unseen battlefield of life, where every move counts and deception is standard, the Sigma male's true weapon isn't brute force or charm. It's the power of an informed mind. And because he wields this weapon with quiet precision, he remains steps ahead, surviving and thriving where others falter. The Sigma male's journey across this unseen battlefield is one few truly comprehend. He carries burdens invisible to the world, relentless self-doubt, a mind sharpened by chaos, a purpose that consumes him silently, and an emotional armor forged not from cruelty but necessity. In a society obsessed with noise, validation, and spectacle, his quiet strength becomes a paradox, powerful yet isolating, ruthless yet deeply human. He doesn't seek applause or followers because his battle is internal, fought in shadows where most dare not tread. This is the weight few can bear, the weight of knowing, seeing, and surviving beyond the surface. And in that burden lies his true mastery, to move through life untethered by expectation, armed with clarity, and forever sovereign over the unseen battlefield within and without. If you found value in uncovering the hidden depths of the Sigma male's unseen battlefield, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join the journey. Like this video, if it resonated with you, drop a comment below with your thoughts or experiences. I want to hear from you, and if you know someone who needs to see this, share it with them. Let's build a community that thrives on truth, clarity, and strength beyond the surface. Your support fuels this mission, so stay sharp, stay silent, and stay unstoppable.